broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host Mike Day is in studio, and he's the award-winning author and our human behavior expert.
Yeah, he's been up for hours.
That's right. We are live streaming during our show on 4 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. Now, we're friends from different backgrounds, but we bring the best technology show weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, at the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, welcome to Tech Time Radio, where the digital frontier collides with two guys drinking whiskey. Today's episode is packed with stories that challenge your everyday technology world. Now, Gwen Way returns for gadgets and gear, showcasing innovations that can reshape the world or reveal something that is able to be used with the help of AI. Now, in addition, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, and a possible Nathan nugget, and of course, our pick of the day whiskey tasting to see if our selected whiskey picks get 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up by the end of the show. Now, we have our 4 whiskeys to test, so we'll have Mark explain all of that. So it's a Gwen show. That means it's our second week of the month. That means we have Mark here to show us all the stuff that we have available to drink. We then pick one of these that we got to make sure that we pick one of these whiskeys. Otherwise, he says he gets to choose them. So let's make sure, Mike, me and you are on the same page so we don't get stuck with something that Mark likes and we don't like.
Are you suggesting collusion?
I am, absolutely. As we go through today's articles, you'll know that collusion is just something that happens now on an everyday base with all of the technology you use. All right.
Do you know what that word means, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Working together. Collusion. That means that you're
have
inside information working together.
There we go.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
we'll just go with that definition.
Okay, all right. Well, should I chat GPT it?
Don't touch me.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to our top technology stories of the week.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right. Story number 1, Nintendo Switch 2 release happened last week, and oh boy, do we have some stories to share today. One of them is on our fail, but let's lead off with an update from Lisa Walker.
Nintendo has officially launched the Nintendo Switch 2, the long-awaited successor to its best-selling gaming console. Featuring a larger display, 4K docking capabilities, and advanced magnetic Joy-Con 2 controllers, the Switch 2 promises a next-level gaming experience for players of all ages. Nintendo has incorporated backward compatibility, ensuring continued access to beloved titles from the original Switch. The built-in camera and interactive chat features introduce fresh ways for players to connect, while the expanded 256GB storage supports even larger digital libraries. The Switch 2 launched alongside blockbuster titles such as Mario Kart World and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now back to the studio.
Okay, how's that have anything to do with the problem?
Oh, well, so that's just kind of an update of what we got going on for the Switch 2. This is a recap, right? Now we're going to start off here with a major story. We got 2 things to talk about. Now, buried in the legalese is a clause that says if you try to bypass system protection, modify software, or mess with the console in any way that's not approved by Nintendo, they can take action. In other words, when you buy a Switch 2, you do not own the device. So
what you're saying is that if you try to modify the console so you can say cheat, Nintendo can brick your...
Well, not necessarily just that, but that is one of the things that are available there. So I have a Steam Deck, right? That's my last big console purchase I've gotten.
Yeah, that was, 2-3 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah. So I can do whatever I want on the Steam Deck. I can load whatever OS I want to do on that. I can do whatever needs to be taken care of. Not a problem. But if you get a new Nintendo Switch 2, The exact wording makes it clear, as it says, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part if they deem necessary.
So they can brick your console.
They can brick your console.
And that.
So if I wanted to load like some mods on it to play some old games, which I've done on many of the Nintendo devices, now
I see where you're coming at it from.
For modifying or anything that needs to be taken care of. I open it, I crack that case. Guess what? I don't own it anymore, and they can shut it down. If I even wanted to replace any of the screen hardware, do any additional speaker replacements, anything that they deem not acceptable, they can brick my device, and guess what? There's no legal recourse for me.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking that's mostly because of the rampant cheating that people do with these things.
Okay. Well, I get that. But if you're purchasing a unit to own as a video game unit that sits in your house, shouldn't it be A, private? Shouldn't be broadcasting stuff, right? It should be A, private, and B, it should be yours.
Well, yeah, it should be yours.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
But there is a problem with the gaming community in which cheaters run rampant and destroy the game for other people. So
you like this idea?
I'm not really sure that I'm on board with what your stance is on this one.
So I dislike it.
Okay, because you're a cheater?
No, I don't cheat, but I like to mod.
You like to mod stuff, right?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so yeah, I mean, there is definitely a community of modders out there that might be upset by this. But I don't know if I mean, we're not real gamers. We don't spend all day gaming.
No, we're old people.
We actually have jobs and do things.
Life.
But I don't know if you have a problem when there is obviously somebody who's cheating in the game that you're playing.
I don't. Even if I'm playing Madden and someone's cheating, they have a good enough type of deal where they'll kind of fix it, take care of it.
Okay, so that's the difference, because I can't stand it when somebody is cheating. I think, but we've had this discussion before when it comes to
Sea of Thieves
using AI for college work.
Yeah. Okay. We have. Yep.
So,
but this is the first hardware purchase mainstream that included wording like this. So now my question is Apple going to do the next with iPhones? Are we soon going to start purchasing iPhones?
It's all going to move towards this because our society is moving towards basically a feudal society. We're a rental society now. We don't own anything anymore, and I think that's where everybody wants to take it. Wow. Because if you own everything, what do you get to do?
Whatever you want with it.
You get to make the rules.
So are you saying that we're changing now into like a feudal system where we just rent everything from the rich people?
Yeah, it's a very quiet change back to a feudal-like system, because if you don't own your house, if all you have available for housing is rental units, that means somebody else controls how you spend your money.
All right, well, let me ask you about this next item here. Game chat. So this is the brand new thing added to the Switch. You can now do game chat. Do you know that your game chat is recorded? With the launch of the Switch 2 and its game chat communication features, Nintendo updated their privacy policy to note the company may also monitor and record your video and audio interactions with other users. Now that the Switch 2 is officially launched, we clearly understand on how the console handles audio and video. During the game chat sessions, as well as footage, which can be sent to Nintendo or shared with partners, including law enforcement. So before using game chat on Switch 2 for the first time, you must consent to a set of game chat terms displayed on the system itself. These terms warn you that chat content is recorded and stored temporarily both on your system and the system of those you chat with. But those stored recordings are only shared with Nintendo if a user reports a violation of Nintendo's community guidelines, the company writes. The report features a user review a recording of the last 3 minutes of the last 3 game chat sessions. So it's not the last 3 minutes of what you've done, of the last 3 games. So the last 3 minutes of the last 3 game chat sessions are recorded. To highlight a particular section for review, suggesting the chat sessions are not being captured and stored fully, the terms lay out that these recordings are available only if submitted within 24 hours, suggesting that the recordings are deleted from local storage after a full day. But we've actually done studies on this, that the recording still sits there. Now, they do delete the name file, but it's not removed from the memory itself. Like you can delete a file from your computer, and there's easy tools to recover it. So it doesn't really delete it itself.
So is this
Interesting.
something you don't like?
No. So essentially, authorities, courts, lawyers, subcontractors, and legal communities are allowed to view this information.
Only by first a violation has to occur, right?
Sure. Okay,
And then-
great. Yes.
Now, okay,
so as soon as it's going to get hacked,
yeah.
it's going to get hacked.
I'm having a trouble defending this one because it's a little 1984-ish for my taste.
Okay.
But we also know there is a lot of bullying that goes on in chats, that qualifies as cyberbullying.
Yeah.
So I think, to me, this sounds like something that already exists. It's just popping out more quickly.
So I buy a brand new Switch 2.
Yeah.
I don't own it.
Nope,
I
you don't own
I
it.
can
You
only
can't
use
play
it.
it. You can't open it up and modify it.
I don't own it. And anytime I'm chatting with
You can't
anybody,
cheat.
anytime I'm chatting with somebody, it's recording that and sending it to Nintendo.
And you can't. Yeah, and you can't threaten.
And I'm
people.
okay with that.
You're
How
okay.
the hell can we be okay with that?
Well,
how can
you know,
these
I
units
don't,
be selling?
Like I said, I'm not what you would consider to be a gamer. I don't sit down and do game chats where I'm, yelling at people and
So you don't
calling
own,
them
you don't own
names
anything.
and-
You don't own anything anymore. Oh, this is okay. All right, let's go.
All right.
Maybe story number 2 will relax me a bit. I'm just
I don't
very,
think so.
very frustrated.
I don't think so.
Because I don't think
Well,
you should be paying for something and then they get to record you. I mean, at least. Never mind. Let's move on to story number 2. I could be on this for another hour and a half, so let's not go there.
Okay. All right. Well, you know that Amazon has tried delivery services with drones.
I have, yes.
Okay.
It didn't work really well.
What?
It didn't work really well.
No, it didn't work really well.
It was a
And
big, big
so
vibe disappeared.
right before the pandemic, do you remember when they tried using those little rover bots?
I do, on the streets.
Yep.
Yeah, to deliver like packages and different stuff.
Yep. Little
R2D2
They started testing it right in the county that we live in.
Yep.
And then it went there several places around the country. So they were these little, and we saw them.
Yeah.
You saw them roving around on the thing, right?
Yep.
Well, that didn't work out either.
No.
So apparently,
Yep.
these 2 failures have really driven Amazon to come up with a new idea.
For robots.
Yep.
Okay.
They're going to build humanoid robots
Oh.
to speed up deliveries for you.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, they want human-like autonomous delivery methods, right? So they want robots that can walk right up to your door
Okay.
and deliver your packages. The company is reportedly finishing work on a San Francisco-based obstacle park to work on the technology. It's unclear how soon it will be developed or used for real-world deliveries.
Is this gonna be like a American Ninja obstacle course? You got like stuff going on here.
I don't know what it's like.
Okay, all right.
Maybe you should ask. Maybe you should ask them.
Okay, all right.
Through your Nintendo Switch. Amazon has been touting its work in robotics for the home and for warehouse use, but this is the first time the company has made an explicit push into using human-like robotics for package delivery, which could replace human workers. The robots would use some of the same AI technology that the company is rolling out across other areas of its business. The company has hundreds of robots-related job listings posted in U.S., Canada, Germany, and Luxembourg. Humanoid robots can carry heavier loads and work in human environments and perform monotonous, physically demanding tasks that fewer and fewer people are willing to do.
That makes sense. A big, large package. I mean, our poor FedEx guy.
This is still problematic. This
It
is
is.
still problematic because, Elon wants to do this too. Elon has this big idea.
Well, he's got time now that he's no
They-
longer
they
working
all-
for the government.
They all want to create. We're creating essentially a slave labor force.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of isn't it? With
Yep.
just robots. But
Yeah.
we're gonna just call it robots, and then we'll feel better
Well,
about
that's
ourselves.
what robot means. Did you know that robot means slave?
Does it really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason why the little trash cans that were driving around didn't work out allegedly is because of regulations limiting autonomous things. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how they're going to push past all this legal stuff.
You're just gonna put artificial skin on it, and you just won't know any difference between this and your local
Okay,
delivery person.
let's pull back from the
This is like Data. This is like Data from Star Trek. Right? So
here we
he's
are.
going to just be
Here
lifting stuff up.
We have just jumped into sci-fi
Well,
realm.
that's what I thought of. I think of Data. I just saw an episode on Next Generation that I'm watching. He lift all these like 500-pound stuff, and then no human could do it, but he saved the world.
Okay. Yeah, there's no point in talking to you about this stuff.
No, keep on going. Keep on going. All right. So,
the idea is that in addition to what they're doing already, robots can do work that humans can't, right? They can work for longer periods of time.
Oh.
They can significantly reduce labor costs.
That makes sense, because I guess you don't have any L&I claims from a robot, right?
That's true.
So if your back is
and you're
thrown
not
out by
going to have
lifting
to be
stuff-
dealing with people calling in sick or calling in late or,
Okay.
If they are sufficiently reliable, of course,
Okay.
and versatile and economically efficient.
That's the economics are the key.
Well,
here.
the problem is that right now costs are really high to get them integrated and maintained into a workforce, and they require AI that's powerful enough to ensure they're safe around human beings.
I could just see one of these walking, and you just pull up in your truck and you hijack it and throw it in the back of your truck.
that was one of the problem. I don't know if you could do that, because I imagine these weigh, 400 pounds.
Well, then what if it comes up my stairs to my house, and my stairs can only take 200 pounds? So
Then
put holes in?
your robot's not going to make it up, and I wonder if they're going to sue you for damages because you have unsafe stairwells.
Okay, all right.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I feel like this is going to come out the same way that the little trash can.
Oh, you think it's thumb downs and it's not going to happen?
I mean, some of the problems with the little trash can thing was that wasn't one of them vandalized.
Yep.
They had to have Amazon people follow them around because of those regulations. It really wasn't really. And they didn't go very fast.
It's kind of like the Amazon
stores.
stores.
Just trundled around like as fast as somebody could walk.
So you remember the Amazon stores that you used to be able to go in and buy your food, and then you just walk out and it charge you?
Amazon Go.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we found out that it was really people in India that were watching cameras that were then making the evaluation of what you bought on the way out, and it really wasn't the technology that was taking care of that.
Yeah.
So is this just Amazon trying to say that?
I don't even know. But that's what they want to do, is make humanoid robots. Or they don't want to make humanoid. They want to use humanoid robots. I'm sure Elon wants to stick his little fingers in that little pie.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you have a summer reading list?
No.
You don't have a summer reading list?
I have a reading list. I don't have a summer reading list.
What if you were in the Chicago area and you received the Chicago Sun-Times summer reading list that had all of the top 15 books to read? Would you be excited about that insert?
Sure.
All right. And then it was so good that you also ran it in the Philadelphia Inquirer. I mean, that would just sound like fantastic. You have it in 2 inserts for this great thing.
I think it's funny that you're talking about reading books.
Well, it's okay.
You don't read books.
Well, that's true. I wait for the movies. But let me just say this. What if you had an AI-generated summer reading list with fake titles appeared in a print insert in 2 major newspapers?
I think that would be a fail.
Well, it would be a fail, but I have even a better fail for the technology fail. So this moved to a main story. It's indicative of the large harms of book publishing and journalism. Too many books and too little time was the quote on their advertisement. It says that we have taken the time and weeks of reading and months of preparation to confidently bring you these 15 titles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that must be too good to be true, because last week the Chicago Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer ran this print insert with an AI-generated summer reading list from a third-party contributor. Several titles were made up. You can't find The Last Algorithm by Andy Weir, doesn't even exist, or The Collector's Piece by Taylor Jenkins Reid in bookstores or libraries this summer, because they plainly just don't exist. But if you subscribe to these newspapers, guess what? They're going to recommend, with all their time and effort that they had, that you should be reading these.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
AI is more and more being used as commonplace, but many argue that you can only train it to do certain stuff, both in books and in the real world of journalism industry. This kind of AI-generated content threatens and undermines the creativity that makes readers in the first place? How can you trust created titles when they don't even exist?
I don't know why you would want to trust an AI.
How would you release this? How could you release this insert?
Because people are stupid.
Okay. All right. So those people are stupid. So what? So if I got this and it tried to. Okay. So that just tells you, like, people complain about the newspaper companies being fake news.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly this is fake news.
It's funny that you're doing this story because we all know how much I hate AI.
Okay. Well, you do hate
and
it.
for these reasons.
Okay.
Because it makes up stuff and it writes books that are really bad and it doesn't have any sense of. There is no sense of control, and people are legitimately losing their jobs because of this.
Well, do you know who needs to lose their job? The editors at the Chicago Sun-Times and Philadelphia Inquirer that ran this print piece. Those people lose.
I don't know that they need to lose their jobs.
Yes.
I think that they need to stop using AI to do their job.
They need to go down and be a type editor. Remove being the editor or whatever in charge of the column. Go back down and have to actually read this
that's some really.
information.
Maybe you should give them Nintendo Switches so they can get them bricked.
Okay. All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories.
Well, that was really just a big bitch session.
Was it? Well, yeah. Well, these are the articles that are shaping our technology landscape right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
All right, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, Gwen will be bringing us a gadget and gear segment that I can be excited about, I hope. All right, buckle up as we drive 88 miles per hour into the next segment. See you after the commercial break.
Looking for custom glass solutions for your next commercial project? Hartung Glass Industries is your trusted partner in custom glass fabrication. For over 100 years, Hartung has delivered proven manufacturing expertise, comprehensive product offerings, and dependable service and quality. From energy-efficient facades to custom shower doors, we create glass solutions tailored to your project needs. With 8 facilities across the U.S. and Canada, we combine national expertise with a local touch-ensuring faster service and unparalleled customer care. Hartung Glass Industries, where quality meets innovation. Visit hartungglass.com to learn more.
Just dropped his keys. Okay, I'm definitely going to have a hard time with this one.
All right, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes, and of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is in the studio. Mark, glad that you are off your vacation.
Thank you.
What do we have in store for us today?
Well, before we get to, I'm curious about the last.
What's that? What are you doing?
Can we redo that entry?
You want to redo the entry?
Yeah, I'm gonna just play it.
Okay.
And you just, I don't want to get all the key.
Okay. All right.
Cut.
Do it again. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 16 minutes. And, of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is in studio. Mark, welcome back from your vacation time.
Thank you so much.
We're glad
Appreciate to be back. I do have one comment about your last AI story.
What was that?
I'm wondering why, after they released that, instead of admitting everything was fake, they should have just put those titles in ChatGPT and created books from them.
Now
That's what Nathan would have done.
That's exactly. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I should have gone on Amazon. If I would have only known a week ahead of time, I would be a billionaire right now.
You would have the best-selling books.
That's right.
10 of them.
That's right. 10 of the 15.
Oy.
All right. Well, what do we have today?
All right, for whiskey,
our whiskey
today, we are back doing our monthly 2024 Flavor Advent Calendar. This is round 6, and this is the last of the whiskeys that we need to go through.
Uh-oh.
And then we start going to the semifinals. So we are, just for those new listeners out there, we're using the 2024 Flavor Whiskey Advent Calendar. 24 remarkable whiskeys to use for our year-long blind whiskey competition to see which one Nathan and Mike like best. Come along for the ride once a month while they uncover new tastes and train their senses to become true connoisseurs. Today is round 6, where they will choose their winner to move on to the semifinals. And I'm hoping you guys disagree.
Okay.
No collusion, because I want to be the deciding vote today.
Wow. Okay.
I have some strong opinions.
Okay.
Now, today we are putting 2 iconic American spirits to the test. It's bourbon versus American single malt whiskey in this head-to-head taste-off to see which style wins the day. While both are proudly American, the difference are in the details. Bourbon must be made from at least 50% corn and aged in new charred oak containers, giving it a sweeter, fuller-bodied profile. American single malt, by contrast, is made from 100% malted barley, distilled at a single distillery, and offers more nuanced, roasted, and grain-forward notes. So let's stay tuned to see which one advances from this round.
Okay. I haven't tasted any of
Yeah,
these.
Nathan should probably do the tasting
Why is
before
that?
we talk about it.
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, while he tastes those, let's remind our viewers, Mike, to like and subscribe. Put comments down there. Tell us what you think, good or bad. We love to hear from our viewers.
Hey, all right. Oh.
And Nathan, please drink responsibly. Heaven can wait.
Thank you very much. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, now it's time to move on to our feature segment. Today we have Gwen Way joining the show. She's an expert in cybersecurity during the day and a game board geek in the evening, as well as the producer of TechTime Radio and our gadgets and gear gal. Let's get ready to start our Comcast video.
What's new in our gadgets and gear?
All right. Welcome back to the show. Gwen, tell a little bit about yourself for any of our new listeners today.
Hello, everybody. I am Gwen, and I have about 25 years worth of technology experience. More importantly, though, I have a lifetime of gadget love.
You know what? You have saved me money, but not really. I'd say that you saved me money, but the last 3 or 4 gadgets I kept on buying, and I bought 2 of the hacking device. I bought 2. I'm just doubling down now before I do one, and now since I did that,
See.
that's all right.
It's
So-
all the good stuff.
Yeah, that's why that
So
first
Gwen-
story offended him so much.
I heard about the gadget. I'm actually going to stay on for this segment because I heard about the gadget, and I'm very curious and skeptical.
Skeptic. Wow.
Well,
all right.
you should have been here last night while we were reviewing the gadgets.
Yeah. Yeah, we had like 3 of them.
Not
like,
last night,
or,
whatever, our
Thursday
production
night.
meeting.
Thursday night production show.
Yep.
All right. So now before we start that, one of the stories did not make it onto the main type of deal. And it's the U.S. offers $10 million for tips on state hackers tied to RedLine malware. Since you work in this industry, and we kind of talked about this with Coinbase, right? Coinbase did this very successfully. They found the hackers. What is your take on having like the State Department announcing a reward for $10 million regarding cybercrime?
Well, it's an interesting thing to do. We've seen it work successfully at this point in business circles. So it's not surprising that the government is giving it a try.
Okay.
I think it's actually a better way to go about things simply because we're not rewarding the hackers by paying them the ransom.
Okay. I think that was kind of Mike's idea too.
Yeah. It's the same as 80s self-defense for women. You know, it used to be like just let them do what they need to do, and it worked badly.
Okay.
And so now we teach people to fight back. So I think this is
You like this idea?
this is a good idea.
It's working.
It doesn't come without its problems, but I think this is a better idea than just saying, "Oh, well, we got hacked. Let's pay them off so we can get our stuff back."
I agree. All right.
Exactly. At this point, we're almost pitting the hackers against each other's.
That's what we're doing. Absolutely. All right. Now, Gwen, you know it's summertime, and nothing's better than making a little sizzle. Of course, in the barbecue area. Now, what do you have to share with us today?
I have what I think is one of the best gifts for Father's Day.
Okay.
Obviously, it won't be available by this year's Father's Day, but next year it should be around. Today's gadget is an AI-powered smart thermometer for cooking.
Oh, okay. So it's an AI smart thermometer for cooking. Now, I like to grill. I got a big green egg. I got Blackstone.
You got a freaking kitchen out on your back porch.
I do. And so I love grilling. And I have these wireless devices that are Bluetooth that I put in there, and it kind of keeps the temperature of what needs to be going. But, you know, I don't use them very often. I use them for Thanksgiving. And I don't use them very often because I like being out there, flipping it over, taking a look at what's going on. Now, I make mistakes. Clearly, I sometimes overcook something. Sometimes the hamburger's got a little bit of runny stuff in there. I didn't cook it all the way. So I probably need this more than most people. But tell me What is the AI going to do differently than other devices that are out there on the market?
Well, it does a couple of different things differently. The first thing that it does is it does have an application you can have on your phone or tablet where it will not only help you figure out the best way to cook a dish, but you can actually type in what you have and it will give you recipes.
Okay. So if I have a steak, it'll give me a recipe on how to cook a steak. If I have some chicken, it'll give me a recipe.
I don't want to be the buzzkill here, but I can do that with my phone.
Absolutely, you can do that with your phone. But in this case, not only do you get the recipe with your phone on the application, but you press a button and the thermometer automatically is set to look for the right temperature based on the cooking method for the food.
You know, that's cool. All I have to do is wait for all this stuff to go, and then I can have Amazon send over a robot, and I can give them the meter, and then they can cook my burger for me.
Exactly.
That's my whole goal.
That's your whole goal. Yeah. Okay, so explain a little bit more about this device. Tell us how many units are, where they're coming from. Tell us a little bit about this backer and give us the sales pitch here.
Sure thing. So this is on Kickstarter. You can find it by searching Chef Lab, CHEFLAB. It's interesting because it can be used for any cooking method. Oven, grill, smoker, etc.
Microwave.
I wouldn't necessarily.
I don't know the microwave.
No.
Except for Mike's cooking way.
I'm single.
Using the hacking tools for hacking. We don't condone microwaving these. But it does have 3 sensor areas. So it's going to sense the air outside the food and then 2 different places within the food to help determine the even cooking. It can be used either from the phone application or from the base, which is magnetic. So you can actually set it and connect it to your grill or smoker or oven, whatever.
Okay. How many backers does it have? How much is it? Let's get into some of those details.
All the good details. So this is out of Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
It's sitting at 640 backers at this point, fully funded. But if people are quick, you can still get early bird special for $69 each.
Okay, so early bird special is still available for $69. That's pretty exciting about that. Now,
Yeah, you sound totally excited.
Mr. Gregoire's got some questions here.
I don't know if I have any. I can't understand anybody backing this.
You can't understand
Well,
anything.
only 640 people did, so that tells you something. And we're talking about a country that just loves to barbecue. And
I don't know
only
if
600
Colorado is where I consider like the barbecue capital of the world to create this device, but they are probably intelligent enough to figure out how to do this.
They have American males that have their eggs out and back, and you know.
So I'll go through it quickly, Gwen, because I haven't seen any advantages that you've given me for this over the current ones out there.
Okay.
So the AI where it tells you what temperature to do it. Well, every recipe has a temperature in it anyway. So AI is just pulling from that. Most recipes have the wrong one according to new food science anyway. So you need to adjust it. So AI is going to cook it incorrectly. And then the 3 sensors, most of the new sensors all have that. They have the one on the tip, they have one at the top, and then they have the one that sticks outside for the outside temperature. My meter has all that.
How much did your meter cost? So was it $69?
It is now $69 off their website right now. I checked it just before coming on the show.
Wow.
And that's one of the top.
See, that's why you have to
ones.
have a microwave.
And then theirs also has other options. If you upgrade, you can actually get 2, 3, 4. So if you're doing 4 steaks, you can buy 4 in one kit that all goes right.
Well,
back
this
to
has.
the
Oh, hang on. Let's go. Let's come
right.
back
And
to.
buy multiple packs.
You can buy multiple packs. All right.
They
So
all connect together.
I don't know if they all connect together, but you do get 2 sensors. So you could have like you could have 2 sensors in one and 2 sensors in another for a family, and you could have like 2 magnetic strips to hang on to this. I do we know what AI it's pulling from, Gwen?
That I'm not entirely sure.
So that is a big. That was my biggest.
It's pulling from the Chicago Sun-Times.
I mean, if it's pulling from grok, or you'd be like, "Can I get a steak?" It's going to cook it at like 900 degrees. because that's what Elon Musk thinks is
And it'll
normal.
put some stuff you don't want on the top, like mucus or something.
and then if you're pulling from Gemini, you're gonna have to repeat it at least 3 times before it understands what you're saying.
It's
and then if it's
DeepSeek.
if it's DeepSeek, it's not even running anymore. That whole thing with DeepSeek
it's gone.
is all
that's
gone.
why it's using it.
Okay, so I mean, I guess my biggest concern would be what AI. This is the first device I think I would really care about where they're pulling the AI from.
It's probably a cheap thermometer that they say they wrap AI around and trying to make some money on.
You think so?
Which is entirely possible.
Okay, so Mark is not investing.
I feel like
into
this might not have been the best choice.
Bah humbug.
Oh,
To say
Mark,
from a
see,
mentor of mine.
That's what happens when you don't come to a production meeting, right?
Well, there was some other things.
Well, the other ones we reviewed were really
These
weird
are fun
too.
to discuss.
No, it's fine.
This is fun. This is the first time I stayed on really for a whole segment in a while.
well, okay. So has this company done a Kickstarter before?
This is their first Kickstarter.
Uh-huh.
So, as always,
Be
you kind of want
careful.
to take it with a grain of salt.
Okay. All right.
Or
However,
a
for
shaker.
the people who are interested,
Yes.
go to Kickstarter.com, search for Chef Lab, and do it before July 4th.
Okay. So let me ask you the question.
We
We
got
always
the
ask it.
question. Did you invest in it?
Yes. Next question. Are you looking to get a unit?
I am not at this time. I have wireless meat thermometers that we use already.
They do a
so-
great job already, right?
See?
Oh, look at that. Okay.
I want to hear from our listeners. If we're wrong, if we're too skeptical, let us know. Fight
That's
back.
it. Yeah. Put it in a chat comment
Yeah.
there. Just like whenever I do math wrong, I get pinged about that all the time. So
Yeah.
definitely make sure.
Or you reference a Star Trek episode from a season that doesn't even exist.
Well, when I say Star Trek, I always mean Next Generation.
Well,
So
you gotta
I
say
go
Next
the
Generation
original.
then.
I always go the original series.
All right.
All right, Gwen. So this is a great gadget.
How are you
So-
going to say you always reference Next Generation, then go all original series? How is that?
So when I normally say I
Star
reference
Trek.
Star Trek, then it's normally the Next Generation because that's what I grew up in. And then when I say if it's the original series, I normally do the original series or Voyager. I say the series that I do. I just consider. That's right. I just. All right, Gwen. Well, this is a great gadget,
Nathan.
though. I appreciate you having an AI gadget on. I don't know if I would invest in
don't.
this. I'm not probably, but for people that if somebody does, and this is like the trend starter, I will just tell you, I have missed the boat on a couple things. Redbox came on out, had a chance to invest into them for like $10K. And
You can go pick up one of the boxes now. They're trying to give them away.
Yeah,
I
so
was going to say.
it went up and it was climbing high, and my wife said it'd never take off, and it took off. But then I probably would have hung on too long, and now they don't exist, and you can find them at your local Blockbuster. All right. Well, Gwen, thank you so much for
Bye,
talking
Gwen.
about our gadgets. We appreciate you so much for joining our show. I can't wait to see what we get next month.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gwen. Had a good
great
time.
All right. We want to thank Gwen for being a part of the show. She does a great job of finding the most unique items each month for our show, and then we go through them on the pre-show and kind of pick out which one we want to talk about, and this is our winner for this month. All right. Now, though, let's move on to Mike's mesmerizing moment.
Welcome to Mike's mesmerizing moment. What does Mike have to say today?
All right. Here's my question for you, robot man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Would you rather have R2D2 or C3PO as your robot at home?
Okay, why are you asking this question?
So I'm asking this question because for the psychology of you explaining and breaking down both R2D2 or C3PO, if you were going to have a robot, we talked about Amazon having a robot. We talked about tons of robots. We talked about different robots. I was going to say maybe Rosie from the Jetsons at home if you wanted that, or Tweaky from
Buck Rogers?
Yes, but we went with R2D2 and C3PO.
Okay.
At your home, which robot would you rather have?
All right. I would definitely go R2D2
Oh, why is that, though?
because C3PO is a whiny bitch.
Oh,
Okay, I
wow.
wanted to interject. Would you go with Chopper or R2D2? Because I feel like
that's a good one too. Because
I feel like you would go with Chopper.
Chopper's more
but he's sassy.
sassy.
Yeah.
But R2D2 is also sassy. So, I mean, we I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times when he's talking in his beeps and whistles, he's actually cussing stuff out. So that to me, that's awesome.
Oh, so you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And R2D2 is one of my favorite on-screen presences.
Okay, so even over Chopper, what's the other? Is it BB-8? Is that
Yeah,
BB-8. I have a
that's
BB-8.
Ray's.
Yeah,
I have a BB-8.
Okay.
Remote control thing. That's pretty cool. But
So-
it doesn't do anything but roll around.
I'm taking data.
Yeah, that way he can lift
You
500
can't- no,
pounds
you
and have
can't-
that
you
taken
can't-
care of. You take data. Okay.
He would want to have sex and do stuff that
What?
humans do.
Okay, he doesn't want to be an android. All right, well, thank you, Mike, for that mesmerizing moment. Up next, we have This Week in Technology, so now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side.
There wasn't really any psychology in that.
Well, you know what? Sometimes people just like to understand you, Mike or Day.
Who would you go with?
I think most people would do CP3O because of what it
C3PO.
brings. Thank you.
C3PO.
Most people
C3PO.
don't go for the cussing little robot. That's a
If you watch the movies,
I do
if you
Rosie.
watch the Star Wars stuff,
You would do Rosie?
From the Jetsons, yeah, clean up
R2D2
my
is the
stuff.
smarter
Yeah.
of the two.
Isn't she sassy as
Yeah,
well?
she's very sassy, but she cleans up the house.
Mm.
And then she yells at George all the time at the Jetsons. So I take Rosie. Rosie would be my winner. But you have robots at home. You have a little Roomba.
I have a
Roomba?
iRobot.
Basically wants
Roomba.
a fancy Roomba is what
Yeah.
Nathan
That's
wants.
what R2D2 is a more fancier Roomba,
Okay.
and it can
He also can store a lightsaber too.
okay.
And
here
fly
we
a
are.
jet or whatever.
He could
That's
fly
right.
around. I'm just gonna have him fly around my apartment and
Pick up your Amazon
pick
packages.
up my Amazon packages from the C3PO that
To deliver something.
freaking delivers it.
Okay, there you go. All right, Mike. Thank you for that mesmerizing moment. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will have our This Week in Technology. See you after this.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so you know what? We need people to start liking our social media pages.
If you like our show, if you really like us,
That's
we could
what-
use your support on Patreon.com.
Or is it Patreon? I think it's Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. If you really like us, you can.
And you say I'm
like
the
us
English
in
guy?
Patreon.com.
I butcher the English language?
You know you butcher the English
Okay,
language
so it's
all the
It's
time.
Patreon.com.
Patreon.com. If you
/
really like our show, you can subscribe to Patreon.com and help us out.
And you can visit us on that Facebook platform. You know, the one that Zuckerberg owns?
The one that we always bag on.
Yeah, you can. We're on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Do you know what our Facebook page is?
TechTime Radio.
At TechTime Radio.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a trend here.
It seems to be that there's a trend, and that's TechTime Radio,
Or you can even Instagram with us.
and that's at TechTime Radio.
That's at TechTime Radio. Or you can find us on TikTok.
And it's TechTime Radio.
It's at TechTime Radio.
Like and subscribe to our social
Like
media.
us today. We need you to like us.
Like us and subscribe. That's it.
That's it. That's that simple.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to June 11th, 1978, with the introduction of the Speak and Spell. You remember the Speak and Spell, Mike?
Yep, I remember the
say
speaking
it.
spell.
And they would say the word. You would play. You could. They have all these little noises it made. You like the noise making? I didn't have a sound effects queued up. So
Yeah, maybe you should have ran with the sound effects
Okay,
because
all
your
right.
sound effects are as bad as your
Okay.
accents.
All right. Texas
Your
Instruments
accents.
Inc. introduces the Speak and Spell, a talking educational toy for children. The device features the first electronic duplication of the human voice on a single chip of silicon. It transformed digital information processed through a filter into synthetic speech and could store more than 100 seconds of sound. Now, the Speak and Spell was created by a small team of engineers led by Paul Breedlove, himself as an engineer with Texas Instrument TI during the late 1970s. Between its release in 1983, the Speak and Spell was redesigned twice under the name Speak and Spell, with a later expansion including cartridges of different languages that could be plugged into the device. Now, that was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to watch some tech time history with over 250 plus weekly broadcasts spanning our 4+ years of video podcasts and blog information, visit us online at techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have our Mark Mumble Whiskey Review, and we have a technology fail that's going to make you cry. All right, see you after this.
Attention, all geeks and pop culture enthusiasts. Get ready for the ultimate celebration of everything geek at Geek Fest West Game Expo, July 18th through the 20th in downtown Everett, Washington. Join us for 3 thrilling days packed with cosmic cosplay, gaming tournaments, retro movies, and a street fair brimming with unique vendors. From the innovative Geektopia vendor hall to the Galactic Time Warp showcasing beloved film classics, including Ghostbusters, The Wrath of Khan, and our special 40th anniversary showing of Goonies, there's something for everyone. Plus, participate in interactive events, from keynote speakers each day to special guest artists. Tickets are on sale now. Secure your spot for this epic celebration at geekfest.com. Get your badges from one-day passes to VIP options and don't be left out. Visit geekfest.com. Geekfest West, the biggest gathering of geek fandom in Snohomish County.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
I'm giving Odie a break. Everybody's going to be very upset about this.
Oh, what do we have here for us? I'm excited.
June 10th.
Yes.
Let's talk about June 10th today.
What is June 10th?
Oh, I like today. I
What is
like
today?
today.
Is today a National Whiskey Day?
No, but kind of close.
What is
In that realm.
Okay, a National
It's
Alcohol Day?
National Black Cow Day.
Oh, how is Black Cow
Okay,
anywhere?
whatever.
Okay, Black Cow Day.
Now, let me tell you,
Okay,
you're going to get excited in a minute.
all right.
Many people also know the Black Cow as the humble root beer float.
Oh,
Why don't they just call it Root Beer Float Day?
I like
Well, let me tell you about that, Mike.
it. Okay.
Frank,
you
You are walking into all of these.
That's I'm looking at Mark's profile and I'm thinking he looks like Richard Nixon, so I'm just really distracted right
Oh boy, that's good. Richard Nixon was
All right,
considered.
let's get back to the Black Cow.
Okay.
Frank J. Wisner, hailing from Cripple Creek, Colorado, invented the Black Cow.
Colorado's the same place we just had that Kickstarter.
Yeah, while staring out of his window, he saw the full moon shining on the snow-capped Cow Mountain, which made him think of a scoop of vanilla ice cream. That encouraged him to add a spoonful of vanilla ice cream to the children's soda Myers Avenue Red Root Beer. When he took his first sip of the drink, he knew he was onto something great. He named his creation Black Cow Mountain, which was later shortened to Black Cow by local children, and then the rest of the world just calls it a root beer float.
So in Colorado, they still have like a
I don't know if
Black
they still-
Cow event type of deal, like a festival or a fair or something like that.
I would think they do.
Okay.
I don't know. Call
So
him up.
why didn't you bring any ice cream for us today, Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah.
What's that about?
What? Come
I
on.
figured we had enough whiskeys today.
I mean, I have
should
root
have
beer
root beer
downstairs.
floats.
Because you know
I
what, Odie, that brings a good point. Now, while many out there are enjoying the root beer float on this beautiful day, we are sipping on 4 whiskeys here in the studio.
Okay.
Now, here they are.
Yes.
These are the 4 whiskeys. We have Stranahan's Blue Peak Single Malt in one of the glasses. That's from Proximo Spirits from Colorado also. It's American Single Malt, believed to be 4 years, 86 proof, 100% malted barley, and that bottle is about $45 on the market.
You know what? I'm starting to realize when they kind of put the estimated years, I don't like very many estimated year whiskeys now. I went back and started looking at them. The estimated years, when they say it's 7 year, 10 year, and they have the date stamp, and then it's a little bit stronger. So, okay.
All right. And then in another glass, we have Frey Ranch Farm Strength Uncut Bourbon from Frey Ranch Distillery in California. That is a straight bourbon. It's believed to be 4 years old, 123.88 proof.
Wow.
That's our highest one today. And it is a blend of 4 grains. It's 66.6 dent corn, 10% winter wheat, 11.4 winter rye, 12% 2-row malted barley. They are very farm to glass type of distillery.
Okay.
And that is $85. That's our most expensive one today. Then we also have Whistle Pig Piggyback Bourbon.
Not a
Whistle
chance.
Pig.
I hate Whistle Pig stuff.
Now those are usually ryes. This is their bourbon offering, which
Okay.
we haven't tried yet.
Okay.
It's from Vermont. It's 6 years old, stated.
Okay.
It's 100 proof. Mash bill's undisclosed, and it is $57. And then the last one we are sipping on today is a local from Seattle.
Okay.
It is Westland Distillery's flagship single malt. It is 3 years old, 92 proof, 100% malted barley, and that is $62. Whoa, that went down the wrong hole for Nathan.
Oh, I tried that one twice, and it's okay. All right, and
All
we
right.
did have our local whiskey last week. That was actually really good.
Buddy, regroup.
That was really good. Oh boy, that was bad. Okay. I think I know my.
You guys got them in order?
I almost do.
I have an order so far. I'm still. This is one.
You want to do the reveal now or on the thumbs up?
No, do the thumbs up.
We'll do it.
All
thumbs
right.
up.
All right. You know, whiskey and technology, a great pairing. Just like Speak and Spell. Do you realize that it had a pairing also? It had two siblings, the Speak and Read and the Speak and Math. We're all a part of the family.
Oh, you never had one of those. Did you?
I
None of those. You didn't have the math. You didn't have the spelling.
All three. I had
maybe
all three.
the reading.
And I had
he
the
took
wizard.
them apart and got them bricked.
That's and I had the little wizard, the little owl wizard for additional.
Okay, let's say you had them, but did you ever take them out of the box?
Yes, I took them out of the box. Yes, I used them. I loved the Speak and Spell. The Speak and Spell was fantastic. I would try to mimic the words that they would pronounce.
The weirds.
The words that
I
was a young kid.
Would mimic the weirds too.
No, I was a young kid, and I was growing up overseas in Africa, and they had the French module that actually helped me learn to speak French.
Can you speak French?
Je ne comprends pas français.
Oui, monsieur.
Oh, très bien.
Okay.
All righty, there you go. And now I'm done with my.
You should do it with your
Dos
accent.
cervezos. Oh no, that's the other one. Okay,
That's
all
wrong
right.
language.
Okay. Now, you know what? After that, let's prepare for our technology fail of the week.
And now,
Congratulations. You're a failure. Oh, I failed. Did I? Yes. Did I? Yes.
All right, our technology fail comes to us from GameStop. Has anybody heard of GameStop? We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, GameStop had people lining up for early hours to get in and to get that Switch 2. Lining outside, people were reported to come all the way 3 to 4 days before the actual release of the Switch to wait in line and to stake their claim to open the store and get their Switch itself if they did not pre-order it. Now, let's just say that you bought from GameStop. Some people reportedly have been unwelcomed with a surprise after picking up their Nintendo Switch pre-orders at GameStop. Staples used to attach the receipts to Switch 2 boxes ended up damaging the screens on the console. So think of having the package here. You have your receipt there. They go and they get a regular stapler and gun and go cha-chink, cha-chink to put the staples on top so you could pick it up. Well, guess what happened? Those little etched staples went on in and pierced the screens, damaging them. So all the people on these GameStop stores that were going to take care of it opened the box to find pieces and parts already floating around in their brand new Switch 2 boxes. Now, the tablet's proximity to the top of the box explains how the staples could get through the poked holes in the screen, especially if the person uses a stapler and gives it a solid push down. I don't know anybody that would use a stapler and not push down on the stapler. So when I was reading this report, I was like, yeah, that's probably everybody. Now, a GameStop spokesperson said that it was investigating the matter and promised to make the customers whole. Now, the problem with this is if you got a Switch 2, the next release of Switch 2s that will come on out isn't for another 3 to 4 months of the next batch that will come on out for production. So if you have a brand new Switch 2, you have a chip screen and you want to get it replaced, what do you end up doing? You end up then packaging back your Switch 2 that you just got, waiting in lines for, and put it in a box so you can then get a pristine Switch
Bad
to be
omens.
taken care of. Well, now GameStop says that it addressed the unique case of staples damaging to the Switch 2 screens. Replacements have been ordered, and staplers have been, quote unquote,
confiscated.
Confiscated. All right.
Confiscated.
Now we're going to head out for our last commercial break. When we return, we have our Nathan Nugget and, of course, our pick of the day. So sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. Let's get into our nugget. Can ChatGPT take over your Google Drive and Dropbox? Yes, it can. ChatGPT users can now use the record mode to take notes on meetings, brainstorming sessions, and thinking out loud. ChatGPT can now connect to Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, SharePoint, and OneDrive, and users can query it for answers about the stored spreadsheets and documents alike. So let's say for your company, you decide to say, tell me what the company's revenue in Q1 last year was. ChatGPT will then go through and sort all the data on your repositories, and it'll come on back out with information that it has. You could also ask it, how many times did I take the ferry on my Italy trip from last year? Now, ChatGPT will structure and clearly present the data and respect your organization's existing permissions on the user level from these documents with citations. The recording feature is currently only available for ChatGPT team users, a subscription plan that sets you back about $25 per person per month for your annual subscription of 2+ users. The notes and transcripts include timestamp citations and action items. Now, OpenAI now has 3 million paying business users from the 2 million in February. So we went from 2 million people in February to 3 million people. Now, it doesn't say, and I looked, is this information stays within the organization or if it gets put into the large language model of ChatGPT-3.
Yeah.
So I looked and I looked. I couldn't find it either way. So
that means it happens.
My assumption is that as everything with ChatGPT, it probably goes to an OpenAI large language model. So anything that you have of your company in that area probably is being sourced. But I haven't confirmed either way, and I haven't queried and looked to see what the information is. When we find that out, I will let you know. Now, let's move on to our pick of the day whiskey tasting.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right.
All right. We're in round 6, which is the final round of the Advent calendar overall of tasting all the whiskeys. All right. So I'm going to go in the correct order for our listeners so they know
what they should have picked, what we should have picked.
Should or should not have picked. And then you can tell me what number it fell in yours. So the worst, by far, not even close from my palate, was in the rocks glass. That was the Stranahan's Blue Peak Single Malt.
That one.
No?
This glass.
This one right here?
That one right there. You're number one.
This is the worst?
Undrinkable.
It's
for me.
It's weak.
What?
It's
But how much proof is it?
It's got a nice taste, but it's weak.
It is 86 proof.
Okay.
No, I will say I'm not a single malt person, but in general, that one I couldn't even.
So I like single malts. But okay.
I liked it, but it wasn't. Ultimately wasn't.
All right. What's the next one up, Mark?
The next one was I did not care for it, but if you poured me one and I wanted to be polite, I could get it down.
The Whistle Pig, I'm sure.
Oh no, you know what? So the first, 19 was the first. No, wait a minute. Mark messed up here. So number 19 was the worst. That's the water glass. Oh, Mark's bad.
That's the water glass. So that's this one. That's this one right here.
That was Mike's last one.
That's the second
and
to last.
Second to last. That makes more sense. Sorry, gentlemen.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm just getting back into the swing of things.
Wow. MIA on vacation.
The one that was single malt, that because I'm not a single malt. The one that was so-so, that was the rocks glass, the Stranahan's one. So the one I did not. So the Stranahan Blue Malt was okay.
Okay.
General weak, like Mike said. The one I did not care for at all was in the water glass. That was the Westland Distillery flagship single malt.
Oh, see, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah. Now, the other two were pretty close. They're both bourbons. My two winners, of course, over the single malts. But the one that I would put in second place was the one in the Glencairn.
Okay. So that
was your last. So you stand true. That is Whistle Pig piggyback bourbon.
I put it last.
I thought it was fine. It was
could
single.
Smell the Whistle Pig in it.
It was single note. It tastes like caramel, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, whoever Whistle Pig uses to do their filtration system should be shot.
And Mike, that was your number one.
Yeah, that turned out to be the number one.
You're a Whistle Pig fan.
It had a really
well. So if you're just getting into bourbons or whiskey, go with the Whistle Pig one. That one was fine. Caramel, nothing complex. If you're more of a connoisseur and want something more complex, something with a little bit more spice on it, that one in the beer glass was Frey Ranch Farm Strength Uncut Bourbon at 123.88 proof. That had a lot going on with it.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble.
That was your number two.
Doing this one.
My number two was this.
So your number one was my last, and your number two was my first.
Yes.
Very interesting palette.
So we didn't choose the same
that's
one.
Not your last. That's his. That's
this is my last. This is my last right here. This is the Whistle.
No, that's his last.
No,
his last is that one.
Isn't this Whistle Pig?
I got the right one for my last.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
That's what he did.
All right. So we did not. Okay. So let's wrap up the longest. That's the
blue moon. Or
maybe we should have revealed this differently.
That's the blue moon.
This is the blue moon version.
Or whatever.
Okay. So Nathan's number one was in the rocks class. That was Stranahan's Blue Peak Single Malt.
Okay.
And Mike's number one was in the Glencairn Whistle Pig Piggyback Bourbon, which was, of course, Nathan's last.
Yes.
Unfortunately, between those two, the Whistle Pig has to move forward.
Woo-hoo.
What? You're putting the Whistle Pig into the playoffs?
Yes.
Oh, my word.
It should have been. You guys both messed up. You guys still aren't connoisseurs.
That
it should have been the
reminds me
Frey
of the
Ranch.
LA Lakers in the NBA playoffs. A lot of hope, a lot of dreams, not a lot of talent.
Yes. It should have been this one. Mike's number 3, Nathan's number 2.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Whew, that was the longest segment we've ever done.
Sorry, listeners.
That's all right. The best part about this is Odie gets to recut up everything.
Got bashed for not being connoisseurs.
That's right. All right. Okay. Now, you know what? All right. We're just about out of time. Mike, you know what? I want to thank all of our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want you to hear from us. Please go wow. Let's redo that again. All right, Mike, we're about out of time. Here we go. This is going to be edited the hell out.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want to hear from you. Just visit techtimeradio.com. Click on Be a Caller and ask your technology question in our TalkBack recording system. Now, you can always stay connected by signing up for our newsletter and stay up to date on technology. From all of us at TechTime Radio, it was an honor to be the host of today's show. And to always remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and